Safari is one of the trickiest adventures to pack for. You're dealing with mobility restrictions, size restrictions, weight restrictions, and even some clothing choices that can get you arrested. It's also one of my favorite adventures to pack for because you have to be so intentional with what you bring and how you pack it. And I'm a weirdo who enjoys that kind of challenge. Hi, I'm Annie. I'm a frequent traveler and I run the account Average Girl Does Cool Things. And in this video, we're talking all things safari, one of the best adventures you'll ever take. So let's get into it. But before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button for more travel content and how-to inspo. Okay, the first thing we have to talk about when you are packing for a safari is the bag that you're going to bring. Because most of the places that you'll go to, you're gonna have to take small aircraft. And when there's small aircraft, there are size and weight restrictions for your baggage. Generally, we're looking at a 15 kilogram or 33 pound weight limit on your luggage, which is not a lot. So we gotta be really strategic here. You're also going to need to bring a soft-sided suitcase. So none of these like hard suitcase, roller board bag things. Why? Again, because that aircraft, they have small cargo holds. They may not be able to fit your suitcase in there. And if they can't, you're probably gonna have to leave it behind. Many of the smaller regional airports where the safari flights leave from will have lockers or something where you're going to have to store your bags while you go on your adventure. And nobody wants to be like repacking at the airport. Personally, when I go on safari, I love to use my Patagonia black hole duffel. I have a 40-liter bag. Absolutely love this thing. It has backpack straps, so it makes it really easy to carry. And I know that no matter what I put in it, it's going to fit those size and weight restrictions because it just isn't that big. Now, when you're on safari, you want to dress generally in lighter neutral colors. So think khakis, beiges, greens, nothing super bright and also nothing super dark. Dark clothing can attract insects and make your life a little bit miserable. So sticking to those neutral colors is crucial. Also, this is gonna help you put outfits together because if you're taking things that are all sort of in the same color family, you're not gonna have to worry about like mixing and matching and colors going wrong. Those light neutral colors are all going to go together and they're gonna help you to just kind of blend into the background. This is great when you're dealing with safari and animals because you don't really wanna like stand out as something that an animal wants to look at. They are large, they are wild, they can eat you, so blend in. It helps. I'm a big fan of brands like Athleta or Patagonia. They're sort of more camping lifestyle type brands. Those are really what you want to go for here. You're going to be in a safari vehicle for hours on end. So you want to be comfortable and you want to be in something like you don't mind if it gets dirty or messed up a little bit. Because safari is, while it's a super luxury adventure, it's also a pretty rough one. So you want to make sure that you are dressed for the occasion. Now with that, remember I said up top that some clothing choices can get you arrested? I'm talking about camouflage. Camouflage in many parts of Africa is a big no-no. Generally, camouflage is reserved for members of the military, so you don't want to look like you are impersonating military when you're there. Also, at least what our guide told us when we were in Kenya in the Masai Mara, camouflage was prohibited because poachers would wear camouflage to try and blend in. And so they think if they see you in camouflage, you're either a member of the military or you're trying to poach animals. And in Kenya, they have a shoot first and ask questions later policy with poachers. So no camo, okay? No camo. Leave the camo at home. You don't need it. You're not hunting. Now, another big mistake I think people make when they pack for Africa is that they forget that the temperature can really vary. They think, oh, we're going to desert, it's gonna be hot. And that's not necessarily the case, especially if you are there in the winter seasons, in the rainier seasons, or you're visiting somewhere that's at altitude. When we were there were some days where it was like 55 degrees and we were quite chilly. So this is a case where you definitely wanna make sure that you are packing layers, bring a fleece, bring a lightweight jacket, bring some gloves if you're somebody who tends to get really cold hands, and something to cover your ears because it can get quite chilly, and those safari vehicles are generally open air vehicles. So as you're moving through, you're gonna get a lot of wind and it's gonna get quite cold. So be sure to pack appropriately for the weather. Now, as you are selecting your clothing that you're going to bring with you, you wanna think about the practicality. So you're going to be climbing in and out of safari vehicles, which can be quite large. So you wanna wear like hiking pants, pants that are able to stand up to a little more wear. I highly recommend bring a pair of hiking boots. I loved wearing my hiking boots. It made it really easy to get in and out of the vehicle. And then, if we did have times where we were walking around in the bush, or if you have to like go use the bathroom, you're gonna have to use a bush toilet, which is literally peeing behind a bush. You don't wanna be walking around the plains of Africa in sandals. There are snakes. There's a lot of poop. So generally, hiking boots are going to be absolute clutch for an African safari. Now, speaking of peeing in the bush, this is something that's kind of critical for you to think about when you are planning your attire choices. You're gonna want pants that come undone pretty easily. This is not the time to pick a jumpsuit or a romper, because you don't want to be like getting naked out in the bush with the elephants. You also want to make sure that you're not wearing things that are like gonna dangle, like fringe or something. I made the mistake of bringing one pair of pants that had like a ribbon belt, and so I'd have to untie the ribbon belt every time I had to take my pants off to go to the bathroom, and then the ribbon was like trailing on the ground. It would get in the way. It was not good. Don't recommend it. So think through those clothing choices, because you're gonna be peeing in the woods at some point. Now, something I learned when I went to Rwanda and Uganda was about paramethrin. Paramethrin is an insecticide that you can spray on your clothing before you go on your adventure. And it was clutch when we were hiking through the jungle in Rwanda and Uganda. A lot of bugs, a lot of flies, and yet we didn't get bit at all, because I used paramethrin and soaked my clothes ahead of time. So it's something you might want to consider doing. Otherwise, make sure that you bring bug spray with you, or make sure that your safari operator will provide bug spray for you. Now, you might be concerned, if you are not allowed to bring that much stuff with you, what are you gonna do if it gets dirty? Well, the good news is many safari operators do offer laundry service. And I highly, highly, highly recommend that you take advantage of the laundry service when you're there. This is gonna allow you to just pack the bare minimum and then take like 2 or 3 outfits, and you can send things out for wash and recycle them throughout your trip. Makes a huge difference. Now, the one caveat to this, in some countries, especially countries that are more Muslim dominated, they will not wash ladies' undergarments. Okay, we ran into this in Kenya. In this case, they do provide some like washing powder in the sink for you, but just like a cultural difference to be aware of. Be prepared to have to wash your own underwear. Not a big deal, but something to know when you're going in. Now, the other thing you absolutely have to take with you when you're going on safari is a great hat. I love a good packable hat. I love this hat from Anthropology. It's been my safari buddy for many journeys. Generally, you want something that is a wide-brimmed hat that's going to cover your neck and your ears. Don't forget that when you are in most places in Africa, in that sort of like middle safari belt, you are close to the equator. And if you're on the equator, you are closer to the sun. And that sun can really mess you up. So a great hat is absolutely key on safari. Now that we have our clothes sorted, just a couple other things I want to make sure that you are aware of that you take with you when you go on one of these adventures. You got to remember, you are going to be like out in the bush, out in the middle of like nowhere, far from villages and towns and things. There's no like drugstore on the corner if you forget something. So you need to be really strategic with what you bring in terms of toiletries and medications. I always recommend take things like Pepto-Bismol, take some like Pepcid or something like for heartburn. And I recommend that you meet with your doctor ahead of time and talk about what medications you might want to bring with you in case of an event. So for example, when we went to Uganda, we had several people who got food poisoning. The ones who had a like antibiotic specific for food poisoning bounced back like that. The ones who didn't were out for a good like 3 days. So I think if you're going on a safari adventure, it is absolutely worth going to either like an international travel medicine clinic or to your own doctor and asking them if they can prescribe you like whatever antibiotic medication that you might need for like a traveler's diarrhea. Can absolutely save your trip. So along with meds, you're going to bring bug spray, like I mentioned before, and sunscreen. Again, sun, equator, bad. Bring sunscreen with you. I also recommend that you pack electrolytes, especially if you're going to be at altitude at all. Having some electrolytes, having like a packet a day, it helps you transition, it helps you get over jet lag, it helps you so much when you're doing these like really physical activities. You don't realize like how physical even sitting in the safari truck is. Like you're bouncing around, you're like using your balance. It can be really, really taxing. And the electrolytes are just really helpful in helping you to recover and to bounce back and get ready for the next day. The last thing you got to remember to bring on your safari trip is cash, like quite a bit of cash. So tipping in Africa is a whole protocol thing. They do not accept poor condition bills, older bills, or large bills. They physically, like, they can't break like a 20. It's hard for them to like break a 20. They can't just like go to the bank and do it. And you do a lot of tipping. Like, you tip performers, you tip your guide, you tip at the hotel. Like, there's a lot of tipping that goes on in Africa, and it's all like small bill stuff. Like, general rule of thumb is like $5 a day for lodge staff, and then like $10 a day per guide. And I think like $5 a day per tracker, if I remember correctly. So you want to bring small bills, like 1s and 5s, maybe 10s, but even that's kind of pushing it, 1s and 5s ideally. Make sure the bills are within 15 years old, so 15 years of whatever the year is that you're watching this, and are in really good condition. That means no creases, no chips or tears. Very, very important. And if you're like, how in the world do you even gather that much cash? You can actually go to your bank ahead of time and order it. So go to the bank, speak with the teller, tell them how much cash you want to take out and that it has to like fit these specifications, and they can actually like order that specific currency for you. So little tip, it's one of those things you got to plan ahead on, but it will make a huge difference when you're there. Okay, that's everything I have for you on safari today. If you want to see what a gorilla trekking adventure to Rwanda and Uganda looks like, I did a whole video. It's like one of my favorite videos I've ever done. I'm gonna put that here. Go watch that one next. And until next time, go create a life you love. Bye.